So, all right, everybody. There's certain topics that I've actually not really touched on so much yet on this channel. I don't think I've ever touched on this topic, but it is a topic of discussion. Gender identity, people identifying as certain genders, or things like that. I want to go ahead and say, and usually I try to shy away from making disclaimers because I'm making a rational point, and I don't have to tell you that I'm a good person in order to make that point. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad about who they are or whatever they're going through. But there is realities that we need to talk about. We need to start taking control again of reality-based conversations. While a person has the right to live their life however they want to, it doesn't mean that society has to change its norms in order to fit your needs. Okay, so I want you guys to look at this clip and we're going to discuss it.
I would like to throw out to other members of the panel, actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl, well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology, is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman?
Well,
can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't, because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well,
how
that's
do you define a female?
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies,
Okay.
we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Interesting. So I'm trying to understand. Your definition is that a woman is someone who is female, you said, right?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Is a biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? Cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce. Maybe doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not myself.
But you used the word. So what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right. So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people who...
That describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own. Right. Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently. And so trans women are women too.
Okay.
And you want to hold on.
You want to reduce. You won't even tell me what the word means, though. So
you want to reduce women. You want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals, our chromosomes, right? That's what you're saying.
What you want to do is
that's what
you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood.
Okay.
And turn it into basically a costume that could be worn.
Matt Walsh went on Dr. Phil to discuss gender identity and topics like that. So he asked the question, what is a woman? And they go right to this term. Both of them did it. If you go back and you watch again, they go, well, womanhood is different for, is different for everybody. He didn't ask you what womanhood is. Going to that term, first of all, already makes it an easier question for them to answer. When you say womanhood, he asked you what is a woman. And so when they ask Matt, when they ask Matt to explain what does he think a woman is? He said it's a female with reproductive organs. And then he says things that make sense. If we go back in history, even bone structure, just like our hips and, our high cheekbones, stuff like that. I'm going to make the screen back onto me. Okay. So a woman is a female, right? Okay. Biological answers, that's fine. So, but they keep going back to, well, that's what you say about woman, but womanhood is it's an umbrella term for for people and how they identify. But he's not asking what womanhood is. He asked you what is a woman. The people identify as a woman. Well, what's that? Well, to each his own. No, a woman is a female. Okay, so it's not about, I don't identify as a female in my heart. I'm a female, period. I'm a natural born woman. I'm a woman, and he tries to get him with the reproduction thing, like, oh, well, okay, fine. If you have a cisgender, there we go with the terms again nowadays. But if you have a cisgender woman, but she can't reproduce, so does that make her, not a woman? So then he's just like, what do you think it is? You know what I'm saying? But me, I would have answered the question. I would have been like, she still has the ovaries. She wasn't born with a penis. She still has the vagina. She still has those parts. We're not talking about hermaphrodites here. We're just talking about women. Maybe women who have too many fibroids, who can't reproduce. I don't know, whatever reason, but they have a uterus that is still a woman, regardless. See, that's how they try to, people like that will try to get people like, well, not all women can reproduce. No, we didn't say about reproduce. We said had the organs to reproduce, but we didn't say about if they did or didn't, I don't have kids yet. That does not make me now I'm not a woman, right? Okay. So then they go back into again with, well, womanhood is whatever. It's an umbrella term, and everybody can identify as whatever they want. Womanhood. I am not womanhood. I'm not womanhood. I'm not. These are community terms. Womanhood, sisterhood, neighborhood. Those are community terms. I myself, Casey, doesn't. I'm not a community. I'm a person. So if I have to explain myself, so if I'm meeting somebody, especially with the name like Casey, right? So I'm gonna tell them like, yeah, I'm a woman. I'm not a man. I'm a woman, right? It's not that I identify as a woman. It's not that I feel like I'm in my heart that I'm a woman. I'm a woman, and that's it. And I can imagine just how I just said that. Somebody like that person who was talking to Matt would probably say for me to sit here, how I just said, like, I'm a woman. Oh, well, now you're making somebody else feel bad just because you're saying that you're born naturally a certain way and they're not. So then that makes them a less of a woman than you. You take it how you want. Okay. I'm a woman. You're not. You're not. Okay. You have the right to live how you want to live. If you transition to what a woman, if you transition to attain woman parts, some, still not all, that's your business. I'm not here to disrespect. If you want me to call you she, at work, I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm man. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, but you're not a woman. You're not. And that is your conflict that you need to deal with. But you can't come in my, my description and tell me, no, that's not what a woman is. You're not a woman. You just identify as one. No, I am a woman. I am. And I never felt so privileged to be a woman. I'm just a woman. It's a simple conversation. Unfortunately, so what happens is now, because everybody's so afraid to be called a name, when the guy said, and I didn't even mean to do that, when the person said, because I don't like, I'm not gonna just lose my point by doing digs. I really didn't mean to do it. And see, that's the thing that happens too. I'm glad that did just happen. Let's talk about it. You misgendered me. You don't know what you just put me through, that you just misgendered. My eyes see what they see. It is not on purpose. I don't get any excitement out of it. I didn't get any more money to misgender you. My eyes see what they see. I'm not a bad person because my eyes see a man in front of me. No matter how much he has nice hair, all that. I'm sure he's very fun to be around, but that's what I see. Okay. By the way, I'm not reduced down to my genitals. Okay. You just reduce people down to their genitals. What is this reduce? I'm not reduced. I have female parts. That doesn't, I'm not and then what's even funnier about that is because of all this talk, you will see a publication like the Lancet, which is supposed to be like a big medical journal. Now they refer to women as bodies with vaginas. Talk about reducing down to genitals. Okay. The person said, and to each his own, everybody's own relationship with their gender identity. And then everybody did this. They clapped. And then you saw the excitement. Like, you could feel it. The person is like, they like, oh, and I gotta clap out of this budget. And and you want to reduce people down to, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm gonna double back on it, like I'm hyped up. And that reaction actually, that is actually a human reaction where I can't say like, oh, because the person has BPD and that's why they're doing that. No, that really is a human reaction. I mean, let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Somebody claps for you, that you're gonna be like, oh, well, shoot, let me add on a little bit more, you know. But unfortunately, too, though, these are personality disorders, though, because what the difference is, like, let's say I'm singing a song and somebody claps for me, and then I'm like, oh, I did good. Well, let me hit this higher note. That's different. You know, that's a little song. This is society norms that now becomes a personality disorder, that you want to change society norms that are not in any way predatory of women and men. You know, you still can live however you want to. You have a right to live safely, but they're not predatory. And so, because you just got to clap because you're making your point about changing society norms, you continuously go on to continue to change these society norms, to try to um, promote and advertise changing norms of men and women, you know. and and they clap for you like you're doing some trailblazing things, so you feed into this personality disorder, this person who, you know, it's like energy drinks for them. It's like, oh good, I'm gonna come up with more stuff to say. Women are not costumes. You cannot, just because you, a man cannot, just because he decides he feels like a woman, say that he's a woman, and then I'm supposed to go along with that and not actually do some more digging to find out, well, what's going on with you? Are you having a dissociative situation here? Like, what's going on? Am I wrong for that? No, because we've gotten to the point where it's taking over this kind of non-reality based thinking, and it's changing how we live. So much is changing how we live that, yeah, you have the swimmer in the UPenn who was born a biological male, decided to take some hormones or something, I guess wasn't doing too good in the male division of swimming. I don't know what was on that person's mind. And then the person all of a sudden says, I'm transitioning to a woman. Took some pills to to like put a halt on the testosterone, I guess, and now is competing against young women, okay, in the swim team, right, and blowing them out the water. The person only got beat from another transgender, man to woman, okay, blowing these girls out the water. Your scholarship is on the line here now. Your scholarship is on the line, and they won't come out. They've anonymously said, we don't like what's going on, but they say it anonymously because they don't want people to call them names. They don't want people to think that they're transphobic. You better stand up for your rights, because they just came and they took you out of your spot. They took you right out your spot, and they're beating you because they would beat you. So people who say, oh, women, you know, we could do everything just as good as men, that is not true. That is not true. And because we kept pushing that so much, what was that girl's name? Rapinoe kept pushing that so much with the soccer girl or whatever. And now look, you have a man. I don't care what he identifies as. His body is a man. Whether he slowed down the testosterone, you should see the wingspan, the shoulders on this person, and is now competing against women because women said too. Some of this is at the hands of women, of course. Women said, well, we could compete against men. We're just as good as men. And now this person is blowing these girls out the water, all of their Olympic dreams, whatever, out the door, out the door. You're never going to beat that person. You're never going to beat them. So you better start opening your mouths and stop worrying about what people think. Transphobe, this phobe, racist, that, misogynist. I don't know all these terms. I don't know, and I don't care. What's right is right. And because people have disorders and are narcissistic, they get to come in your space. So that's how I feel about that. And this is a real discussion that is worth having, because like I said, on my channel, we talk about everything. And look, but I just said the girls, they're gonna lose all their meets and their competitions and everything. This stuff matters. If you have a daughter who is going to college um, on a on a track scholarship, on a swim scholarship, and then one day some a man decides that he's all of a sudden identifying as a woman, he's allowed to compete against your daughter and blow her out, make her eat his dust. You know what I'm saying? He's allowed to. And then they will say, worse yet, they will say he got the got the highest woman's record for woman's XYZ. Like and like this video if you like it, if it made any sense. Hey, if like I said, dialogue. So if you feel like I said something that was not right, please go ahead and comment below. Let's talk about it. Maybe you feel like it's a different way, whatever. That's cool. Like we could have a discussion. All right. So thank you guys for coming through, and I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye.